A great pioneer of the sport in this part of the country, and remembering the great tradition of this race over the years. National teams like Australia, Italy, Argentina, China, other great college powers coming for the Windermere Cup. Steve, last year, what a thriller between the Huskies and Team Great Britain.
Yeah, the Huskies made it a great race against Great Britain. They had their bow ball ahead as they entered the cut, but the experience and size and strength of Great Britain showed in the sprint, where they were able to move away from the Huskies and take that 2014 Windermere Cup win.
That actually snapped a 7-year winning streak in the top boat in the Windermere Cup for the Huskies. See if they can start a new winning wave. Huskies in lane 2. It's the Kiwis from New Zealand in lane number 1. And Columbia, Steve, making the trek out here. We've seen them in other races, and they've got a varsity 8 boat ready to go in lane 3.
Yeah, Coach Alwyn's crew from Columbia has really had a exciting spring. They've raced a ton. They've basically raced for 7 straight weekends. So they're coming into the final part of their season, and the reason that Columbia's out here is to try to get a little bit more race experience before they head into Eastern sprints.
So underway, Columbia in the lane nearest to our viewing vantage point right now, lane 3. Then it's the Huskies there in the middle and the Kiwis on the far side. First 30 seconds or so trying to set up. And if you're the Huskies, you heard Stuart Sim talking to Mary, they want this win early on. How do you try to get yourself in good rhythm here and coming off a loss last week to Cal if you're UW?
Well, what Coach Callahan went for here is a little bit of a lineup shift. He moved Henry Meeks, who's a senior, one of the most experienced Huskies, moved him up to 7th seat right behind Alex Perkins to try to get a good, strong rhythm of base speed. That's the critical part for the Huskies, that second and third 500. They want to see improvement right there.
And that adjustment made, including the switching out of some personnel as well for the Huskies, coming after last time out. In their duel with Cal, the varsity 8 boat lost to another collegiate crew for the first time in almost 5 years. So it had to be a little bit different post-race speech for Coach Callahan after an L instead of the normal W. Right now, New Zealand with the early advantage here. We'll see how this new group comes together for the Huskies.
Yeah, the new Huskies in the boat. Jake Zier in bow seat, a kid from Orcas Island, just a sophomore, and then Jacob Dawson, who's from the UK, coming in at 3 seat. Both add a little bit of strength and speed to that Husky varsity 8.
Right now, trying to chase down New Zealand. This country won the most gold medals of any nation at last year's Worlds.
You can see that the New Zealand crew is in the Windermere Cup 8, a brand new Empacher shell purchased by the Windermere Cup, with the name John Jacoby, who founded the Windermere Cup back in 1987 as the namesake of that shell.
Again, the oar has been painted by the University of Washington. They actually added that silver fern symbol that is normal for the Kiwis, so try to make them feel at home, but maybe that's as much sportsmanship as you'd like here. Don't want to lose to them as the Huskies try to reel them back in.
Yeah, well, Windermere and Washington both put on a good show for all the visiting crews every year, and the addition of a great shell like this and their custom painted oars certainly will make this crew feel at home, but the Huskies have to take away that feeling right now if they want to get this win.
Well, you see New Zealand stretching out the lead. And for Washington, last week against Cal in their head-to-head battle was the second 500. They lost a second and a half and never recovered. And they've lost a little bit more ground here to New Zealand.
Yeah, Cal took that move before the 1,000 meters. It looks like the Kiwis have done the same. Washington's now trying to respond in this third 500. It's a really critical part of the race. It's when you're very tired, your energy is slightly depleted, but they're also coming into the Montlake Cut where they get that little pop of adrenaline from the fans. They know where they are. They know this race course so well, and Stewart is definitely calling for them to make their move right now and jump back in to the lead that the Kiwis have.
New Zealand in front. Then it's Washington. Columbia right now in third position in this men's Windermere Cup event. The chase boats following along with the proceedings. And what a thrill for these teams to try to chase down this group from New Zealand that is on pace to try to win a spot for their country this summer, and this group being groomed to represent New Zealand in Rio at the Olympics next summer.
Yeah, this crew is kind of what New Zealand rowing would call their future. They're grooming them for 2016. They're also probably looking down the road at the 2020 Olympics as well with many of these athletes. It's a very young crew. They've only just out-aged being U23 competitors. So it's a young, very talented group, and so the future for New Zealand rowing looks pretty exciting.
They are flying here towards the finish. Huskies trying to dig in, get one more charge. Stuart Sim talked about that head-to-head showdown with Caleb Shepherd, the coxswain of New Zealand, throughout their careers at various Youth World Championships. Other guys in the Huskies boat, they were at the U23s representing their own countries and fell short of New Zealand last year. Like Alex Perkins in the stroke seat for the United States. Henry Meek in the 7th seat, another Aussie, Finn Schroeder of Germany. His group finished behind New Zealand last year at the Under-23 Worlds. Can they mount a charge here down the stretch in the Windermere Cup?
Yeah, Stuart is urging them. Here is a very strong sense of can they close, can they get it, can they inch back into that lead in this last 250.
The best in the world coming here to the Windermere Cup every year. And you look at Caleb Shepherd, his boat looks to be in position to grab the win over Washington, and New Zealand takes the Windermere Cup.
Great race by the Kiwis. It's certainly not an easy thing to come around the world and race in an environment like this.
So it's New Zealand with the win, Washington in second, and Columbia. Steve talked about their grueling race schedule of late. Out here in the Pacific Northwest, they end up